I'm getting in a text. Oh, that's a bummer. Bob Weir just passed away. Oh, that's a bummer. I think that's the only Dead song I know. Yes, we are live. And we have a lot to talk about this week. It's been a busy week. We have the usual people here. Tony, Deanna, Matt, usual suspects, JMT builds. Scott. Can't say Scott without doing that. Frank C, Strat CPO. James, J Shaft, Zoot. Who else we got? Yeti Matzi, Chris, Speaker. What's up, dude? I'm still hurting. We'll get about that. Speaker knows what I'm talking about, and no one else does. But it's been a rough week. Who else do we got here? Double R Guitar. All Grain Brewer. You made it. Talking about Ibanez playing a Vola. Yeah, well, there's an explanation for that. I guess it was Tuesday. I had a bunch of stuff I had to do. Like, it's starting Monday. The ceiling in my dining room got really water damaged when that roof was leaking, which we fixed 5 years ago. And I'm like, kind of time to fix all the damage on the ceiling, So peeling paint and water stains, and I was like, the plaster's fine. We just got to repaint this thing. And what's up, Pasquale? And I think I see David and Mark and Buddy. Buddy's right there, and I think Henry might be up there. I don't know, maybe. So I started to strip the ceiling on a like a step to get me up close to the ceiling, and and a scraper. Right, don't want to hurt the plaster, so you got to do it kind of delicately. And that took quite a few attempts, going up and down on that little step and sort of scraping the ceiling. And you get your hands over your head a lot. I think that was Monday, because I said, I'm going to get this project done before, like in a week. Let me just get this done. So I did it for, a bit, and got it pretty, like all the peeling paint, and I was going around, and anything that was cracked, I was chipping, I was, just really, really getting it ready, prepping it. And then I got some mud, right, that I can, some spackle I can throw up there. Got a giant container of it. And I could smooth out the edges, where the paint is chipped away, and I could do all this work. So it was a lot. I had to move the dining room table out of there. I had to do all this stuff. And so, it was a big freaking effort. And I had to stand up on a stool, going up and down on a small stool to get up there and do it. So that was fine. I don't know. That was all fine. The next day, Tuesday, I had a handful of tasks that I needed to do that weren't very long, maybe 20 minutes a task, right? But it required me to sort of like, I couldn't be on my knees, but I just sort of had to bend over, just lean over. But it wasn't so low where I could put like knee pads on and get down. It's like, no, and so I had to do those, get it done. And then I said, you know what? I should, while I'm in working mode, I should get the wood for the back room there to do the new rack, because I want to build a new guitar rack back there. 10 feet long. I'm going to get 10 footers, 2x4s. I need 4 10-footers, and I need like a half dozen 2x4s, 8-footers. And with that, I can put together the rack, cut the 2x4 short, use the part that's cut as the front to back spacer, right? Use the 10-footers as the long stringer, and, do 2 levels, and the middle level will be for the guitars. And I actually have some leftover wood from the trailer that I could use to fill that in, right? To build this like really sort of nice, sturdy guitar rack. And get everything. Because, although it hasn't flooded here in 5 years, I am still deathly afraid of flooding down here. I mean, it could happen. Past this prologue. So I was like, okay. I text speaker and I say, hey, are you around on Thursday, which was the nicest day weather-wise? And maybe we can run over to Home Depot and just, you can help me load up these 2x4s. You got to get like 10 2x4s, 4 10-footers, and 4 half dozen 8-footers. And but there's no way I can do it by myself. I'm going to strap it to the roof of the friggin' SUV and then just ratchet it down with some ratchet tie downs. He's like, I can't do it Thursday, but I could do it like Wednesday or Friday. I said, well, let's just do it tomorrow. On Wednesday, just get it done. And he's like, sure, I'll come over. So I could kind of feel my back a little bit, like the lower part of my back, like sort of tightening up or whatever, but I didn't put it together. I went to bed. Next morning I woke up. God, I could barely get out of bed. I was the goddamn Tin Man. I struggled to walk across the goddamn floor. I mean, I'm like, oh my God. I didn't think I was going to get down the staircase. I couldn't lift my legs. My back was hurting so bad. I was like, oh my God, this is brutal. And so I clearly had it really inflamed it. And then, like any football player will tell you, you feel fine the day of the game, but the next morning it feels like you were hit by a friggin' Mack truck. And that's kind of like what it was. It felt like man, it was so bad. My wife saw me walking. She was like, oh my God. I'm like, I know. I hurt my back. She's like, I know. Just leave me alone. Don't look at me. So I'm down here. It's like I'm chowing friggin' ibuprofen, but you can't eat too much of that. Yeah, we were just saying at the start of the show, rip Bob Weir, and rip my back. And so I'm taking ibuprofen, and I text speaker immediately. I'm like, today is canceled, because I can't even walk, let alone lift my arms over my head or try to move 2x4s up on the roof of a car and strap them down. It's never going to happen. I mean, my wife was like, I've never seen. I said, I know, no, it's really bad. It's like right at the base of my back, right dead center. And, and surrounding area. It's right at the very bottom. And, oh my God, it was hurting so friggin' bad. So I'm chowing ibuprofen, I'm trying to like relax. I'm trying to, and at one point I said, okay, let me just see. And I tried to get up. I didn't think I was going to get out of the basement because I have to duck down. I'm too tall to get down the hallway. There's a little duct work at the top. So every time I walk down there, I have to like lean over. And the struggle was real. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the worst. I can't remember like ever hurting, when I broke my leg, I hurt my back really bad, but that was upper back. And that's from laying in bed for so long, right? Your back sort of atrophies a little bit. And I was like getting up off the goddamn toilet and I tore out my back. And that hurt like more than the broken leg. I could barely breathe. It hurt to inhale. This wasn't that bad, but it hurt to cough or sneeze. I found that out. Any coughing or sneezing was like a friggin' dagger into the bottom of my back. So I'm trying to do the heating pad. We dug out the heating pad. I'm just like, I'm chowing ibuprofen like crazy. But you can only have so much of that. It causes stomach bleeding if you eat too much. And if you've ever seen anyone who's had too much Advil, you turn green. It is not good for you. You know. So yeah, you're thinking tonight's show might be canceled. I tell you, the reason why I'm playing this guitar is that it's super lightweight. It's like one of my lightest guitars. And it was right there. So I could just sit in the chair and just pick it up and put it on me. Right? And, my Ibanez, they're all in cases. And I said, are you going to go over there and try and pick that goddamn case up off the rack? I said, you're going to lean over to pull that case up. I said, and it's going to be game over, dude. You're going to be lucky if you're recovered before the goddamn NAMM show. And that's coming in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I'm at NAMM. Oh, and by the way, there'll be no live show that night. So, I know, Jack Daniels, I know. So I'm like in the shower, going, you son of a bitch. And I can't get oh my God. It hurts so freaking bad. My wife was like, I can't, I know. I know, it's bad. She goes, I can't even remember the last time, you've ever been this bad. I said, no, this is like really bad. I don't know what I did. But, I'm wondering how my Ibanez comment led to this tale of woe. No, it's a tale of friggin' woe. This whole week has just been a goddamn nightmare. If you've ever had a really hurt back, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like it just affects your whole body. This isn't like a sore, wrist or ankle or something, right? It's like your back, the muscle mass is just so big, and oh my God. It is just, this whole week has just been I'm pretty much starting Wednesday early morning. So then, by Wednesday night, I'm like, you probably be a little bit better the next day. And I thought I was going to be, but then I woke up and I was like, no, still pretty bad. And then yesterday, I thought I felt a little bit better. And I said, I'm on the mend. Look at you on the mend. This morning, it was a lot worse. And I have no idea why. It's not super cold out or anything. It was warmer at midnight last night than it was at, noon today. Right? We had a warm front blow through for a little bit. It was like 50 degrees at midnight, 51 at 1 a.m. At noon today, it was like, 45, 40, dropping, right? The dew point had fallen, and now here comes the cooler, drier air. So, I don't know what it was, but man, it was rough again this morning. And I haven't taken the ibuprofen again because I just feel like I've been chowing it too much and I need a little break from it. I've been saving it up to take a couple before I go to bed. And it's been a tough week. Yeah, it's called getting old, exactly. No, this old slab of beef back there, it's seen its day. yeah, no, it's tough. It is friggin' tough. And I need, I just need a little, what's that? That's heroin. Then I was fine. Oh, yeah, no, it's bad. So, the reason the reason I am playing this Vola is that it's a very light guitar, despite being mahogany. It's not chambered, but it's it's weight relieved. So it's a much lighter guitar than anything else I had. Even that's a little heavier because it's older and it's solid. And I just couldn't, all the Ibanez's. In fact, I started thinking, I'm like, well, what Ibanez do you have that's not in a case, but they're all in hard shell cases, and they're all up on racks? And I'm like, dude, you're gonna go to pull that guitar off that rack, you're gonna pull your friggin' back even worse. So I took the path of least resistance. It's yeah. Too much ibuprofen constipates you. Yeah, I tell you, ibuprofen, well, it's a good temporary fix. You don't want to be chowing that stuff nonstop. You will make yourself sick. It is not good. It's supposed to be for, yeah, and that's absolutely hilarious. And that's when I, had a touch of the water knee. It's like, getting old sucks. I feel your pain. Yeah, I know I needed a couple of shots. Yeah, just shoot it in my veins. Oh, 151. Had an Ibanez Sabre. Yeah, that was light despite being mahogany. Well, they had to make it mahogany because it would have to it would have crazy neck dive if it didn't because the body's so thin. So it's actually quite balanced. We need more racks, I know. So I was trying to build the ultimate rack, and the rack fought back. The rack's like, no, you're going to sit in a chair all day. Then I'm like, in this chair? I literally ordered myself a new chair. It's coming next week. Because I don't like this chair. This chair hurts my back. Like a drunk. And another thing. Where's my pie? Oh. I know. Well, I do have some guitars over here that are kind of light, but I have to lean over the table and pull them off a wall. And I was like, no, you need a place you can stand right next to it and take it up. You can't, you go leaning over. And you know what? When we used to live at this apartment in Woburn, what a killer apartment this was. It had this big giant wall that was all brick, and it had a big fireplace in it. And I'd get every year, I'd get a cord of wood, or a cord would last a couple of years. I get another cord of wood. And so I was, going out and getting wood, and we had like it's like a canvas pouch, right? It's like a long pouch, and you throw a few logs in there, right, out off the pile. I'd get that. I'd spend a day out there stacking wood, and so I would go and pull a few logs off the pile and take them in. And I had pulled my back a little bit doing something, maybe at work, because I was working in IT at the time. And I came in with that bag of logs. This was in the late 90s, and I leaned over with those, and oh my God, I barely made it to like the couch to lie down. I was like, oh my God. And again, that was lower back too. And and ever since then, I just know. I said, listen, if your back is causing you problems, don't do anything where you have to like lean forward with something heavy. You're just going to hurt it even more. And, I'm already like, I think gonna recover from this before NAMM. But I can't even roll the ceiling. I'm worried about even trying to roll the paint for the ceiling. It's like, I don't even think I'm going to paint that until I get back. You know, I gotta remember when I'm at NAMM, I usually walk. Last time I was there, I just remember that I said, oh, I had like 22,000 steps, and they were like, oh, and I go, that was 18 kilometers, and they were like, oh, 18 kilometers. I'm like, yeah, no, that's a lot of walking. Oh, so yeah, it's been a tough freaking week. How you doing? Yeah, and don't turn sideways. That's a good point. Yeah, any sort of movement side to side, I'm telling you, just even rolling over in bed has been just a nightmare. It's just, getting up out of a chair, walking up up or down stairs, coughing, sneezing. It's all just a friggin' dagger into the lower part of my back. I know exactly. I'm going to need a mobility scooter out at NAMM. Beep, boop, beep, boop. No. How you doing? So anyway, that's occupied a lot of my week. That started Wednesday. And I said, well, by Friday, Saturday, you'll be better. And I thought yesterday I did feel a little bit better. But this morning I was like, oh my God, if anything, I think you feel a little worse. It's like, oh my, what the hell? What the hell happened? We were on a trajectory. I know. Hopefully I can still laugh. Yeah. Exactly. Twisting is dangerous, especially when carrying stuff. Absolutely. So I'm using like a lot of like the railings and stuff to try to like hold myself up, and oh, a freaking nightmare. Lifting my legs. You know what I'm saying? That's it's tough. Lifting my legs up. So that's why I'm walking like barely lifting. I'm shuffling across the freaking floor. Then my wife was like, holy shit. I'm like, I know. She was like, I can't believe this. I'm like, oh, believe it. Oh, it's real. Exactly. I need a hover around. This isn't as actually as getting cracked by a chiropractor, but it works. Yeah, but that's skeletal. This is muscular. This is a torn muscle. In fact, you can feel I got a couple of torn shanks right down here. A couple of ham hocks in there. And it's like when you were younger, quite frankly, it wouldn't tear like that, right? The meat wasn't so tough. It was a little more tender. And secondly, you would recover faster. You just would. You might be feeling better in just a couple of days. I have a feeling this is going to take a good week. And, like I said, I'm going to NAMM. I'm leaving for NAMM 2 weeks from when I heard it. I'm just hoping that I'm okay. I got to sit on a 6.5 hour flight. I got to do a lot of walking through the airport. I got to carry bags. I need a backpack, right? I got to go to the NAMM show and walk around there all day. I'm already so I'm on a real sort of don't hurt yourself tour. Try not to hurt yourself there, kid. Standing up from the toilet can be hard. Luckily, I figured this out. The tub is right in front of the toilet. And we had a bar put in for the tub. But I can reach it. I get along, my arm is long enough. I can reach up and I can help hoist myself up with that bar. And that has been a freaking godsend. Wiping your ass, though. That'll do it. Oh, wait, hold on. You son of a bitch. Oh, everything sucks. Then you die. But the scooter fun, thank you. Oh, we're getting gamey now. You know, most animals at this point would pass on you. They're like, we like the more tender week and a half, my friend. I know, that's what I'm thinking. That's called turning 60. I turned 60 this year. In just a few weeks, I'm turning 60. It's my sweet 60. And I rolled into it on a scooter. Beep, beep. Oh, I got the bidet. But you still gotta dry yourself off a little bit. You know, they have a blow dryer in it, but the blow dryer sucks. You never use that. Trust me, I use the bidet all day. Yeah, Bengay and Aspercream, I know. I know. It's brutal. You ever play a Strandberg? I had a video on Strandberg, right? We had a, was it the Bowden 2? Bowden? Yeah, Japanese toilet like South Park, yeah. No, mine has, you're 61 today. Happy birthday. Yeah, it's got like a little hair dryer in there, but, you know, it's not good. It doesn't really work. You'd be there forever. You know. Times I'll go 3 times before work. The worst, fell asleep on the couch. Cover your head, yeah. Yeah. It's, no, it's friggin', it's awful. But, you know, the bidet is life-changing. No, the bidet is awesome. But, you know, once you go bidet, there's no going back. That's what we found out. Because the first one we had broke. We're like, oh, whatever. You really miss it. But, you know, you're still doing a little bit of grunt work. You're 68 with a bad back. Yeah, no, it happens. I'm still playing. Came here for the guitars, stayed for the bidet talk. Oh, once you go bidet, there's no going back. Use the cat's litter box. Did I tell you I got a giant litter box for the cats? Because one of the cats kept pooping on the floor. We think it was Cutie. It's hard to know. But I got like a pet pool. It's like 30 inches in diameter, and I just put the kitty litter in that, and they love it. And it's it's 30 inches versus a kitty litter box. The pooping on the floor stopped. Now there was like enough room, so it worked. It absolutely worked. Still gotta tap, tap, taparoo. We changed the I think what it was is that particular cat's really big, and I think even though we had bigger kitty litter boxes. They just weren't big enough. I think she just felt like too small in it. And we clean them out like almost constantly, like every day. You have to with 4 cats. But going to that little mini swimming pool, they seem to love it. And you still got to clean it every day. But still, it doesn't get as bad because there's just so much more kitty litter, so much more surface area. God. Take the car to get a pizza. It's the crema beretta. I do like this guitar a lot, though. You know, how does the my wife has been doing that. I can't. There's no way. We have a little small stool, little chair. You know, you can sit in to, so you don't have to get down on your knees to do it. You just lean over and do it. But I hadn't done it this week. She had really been handling it. So that definitely wasn't what caused my back, without a doubt. It was doing the ceiling. And I had like 2 or 3 tasks on Tuesday where I just had to bend over just a little bit. Oh, hold on, let me just work on this and work on that. And I remember standing up a couple of times going, oh, Jesus, you're going to pull your friggin' back, dude. Oh, you think? Since you lost your dog a few weeks ago, a couple of cats have adopted us. They just showed up and act like they own the place now. Great. You know? Exactly. No one really owns cats. Cats own you. Yeah, I think Tone King lost his dog of about 10 years recently. He was a big dog, and big dogs don't last long. You know, they tend to die relatively young compared to like a medium or small dog. It's tough. You know, I know it's tough. It's tough to lose a pet. Though this week, I had a friend of mine lose his dad. Another friend of mine lose his grandmother. It's been a tough week. It really has. So I don't know if you saw the new Ibi gear. Ibanez is, I before I came on here, I actually looked around online and said, well, who else has announced stuff? But wasn't a ton yet. I think they're holding off for the NAMM show. Although Ibanez has like the biggest booth on the floor, Hoshino, which is Tama and Ibanez. They have like one of the largest booths on the floor. But here's the new gear for 2026. Everyone's video for this guitar dropped. Now, normally when there's a big guitar drop and I'm not a part of it, I'm a little bummed, a little jelly, a little peanut butter and jelly. But I could give 2 shits about this guitar. Is it 8 strings or is it 7 strings? It's 8 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's an 8 string. Yeah, that looks like a 7 string, 7 string, and that's an 8. Yeah, a couple of 7 strings and an 8 string. Yeah, 528, 527, 527, 528. Yeah, you know that I'm not gonna lie, it's just not my style of guitar. First of all, I've sort of discovered that I don't even like a lot of standard neck widths. One of the things I like about this Vola, one of the things I like about certain PRS guitars, very few, not a lot, and what I like about Fender Classic or AVRI series is that at the nut, the width is 42 millimeters. The Fender modern stuff, like their Pro line and things like that, pretty much every Gibson guitar, most of the stock with PRS, it's 42.8, 42.9, right? It's closer to 43 than it is to 42. I don't like it as much. I prefer the 42. What I really like about the Silver Sky is it's like, 41.9, right? It's even a little bit more narrow. It's fantastic. But this is supposedly everything, all the new stuff. That looks pretty good. Kind of like a straight up. That looks like. I mean, I don't want to. Kind of looks like that I had here, doesn't it? I mean, is it just me? Looks almost exactly like that I had here like a year ago. I love the color though. It's a beautiful color. I swear it looks exactly like that even the color. Of course, these are made in Japan, right? This is an MIJ guitar, no? Yeah, it says Prestige, right? Does that say? I think that says Prestige. It's Prestige. Yeah, Prestige. Right there. So, MIJ. Oh, geez, how would we ever know where it was made? See, the bad back, bad focus. Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going green. I don't like the flat. Gray metallic is nice. I do like that too. And that's not bad either. I think I'm going green number 1, followed by the gray, and then the orange. And then I could give her, I'm not crazy about flat colors. They get hot spots. They're hot spot. All right. Some new stuff, TGBs. That's not bad. Very stratish. Looks like it's got Duncans in it. Kind of doing the... okay, so are they doing the PRS thing? Where they're mixing colors? I kind of like it. Right? The silver over gold. I don't hate it. I think I kind of like that. PRS has been doing the same thing in the opposite way. Right? They've been doing sort of like a silver plate with a brass saddles or something, right? A little bit different look. They're doing some tonal mixing. Okay, and gold at the headstock, but I actually kind of like that. All right. I hate those pickguards. Not a fan. It just reminds me, I'm of a certain age where that reminds you of what cheap stuff used to look like. It would always have that pearl look to it. Like hair brushes and, right? It was like trying to go for a tortoiseshell look, but not tortoiseshell. Yeah. Not bad. Oh, I get it. These are both the same. I got you. What do we got here? All right. These are all new for the year? Well, it's on the new for 2026, unless it's only the new stuff. What's in here? I don't think so, because I know that one of the new items that's coming out is this. Right? There's a new Iceman with a maple fretboard. My only complaint is I wish they did a darker inlay. It's just not contrasty enough. Now in the photo, it looks a little contrasting, but I've seen a few videos, and not a lot of contrast to it. And it looks like they're doing the old Super 70s pickup. Is it a Super 70s? What are they doing? Super 80. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Standard. Pretty standard. Yeah. Nice looking top. Is it satin? Low gloss. Okay, so it's like a semi-gloss. It's not flat or satin. It's a low gloss. I actually kind of like that. Not bad. As long as it doesn't get hot spots. Is this new too? No, I don't think so. Maybe it is. But see, that looks more like a... See, I like that better, I think. Again with the Super 80s. Again with the Super 80s, yeah. Jatoba. Okay, you had me and then you lost me. You're a Jatoba. Oh, that's nice. Is this also a Super 80s? Yeah, Super 80. What's that back look like? Oh, yeah, okay, yep. All right. Also a low gloss. Interesting. Interesting. Love that fretboard, though. Bases. There was one new... I don't know if they'll have it on this page. This feels like all their current stock. Even if it wasn't brand new for this year. It's like sort of like the 2026 lineup. But I could have sworn they had come out with an acoustic with shark tooth inlay. And there it is. Hello, hello. Right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the red. And the purple. And the shark tooth inlay. That looks like ebony. Let's see what this is. It Jatoba? Purple heart. Interesting. Interesting. And what is the... Okay. You just worried you're wondering how they... And is this a concert classic? What do they call... Because I have a guitar with a body like that. And I believe they call it a concert classic. And it's extra thick. I don't think this looks as thick as... Maybe it could be. Yeah, because it exceeds the back there a little bit. It might be. The body on mine is extra thick. It's nice. I have a... the one I have is a Framus. All right, Purple Heart. Purple Heart Bridge, okay. Comfort Grip Maple Neck, that's code for, closer to an electric than an acoustic. Although I was playing my Larrabee the other day, before I hurt my back. Maybe I hurt my back pulling that case off the wall. And I forgot how small that neck is. It's got a very nice playable neck on it. Guitar sounds amazing, too. It's easily my best sounding acoustic. I'm just worried about destroying it. So I leave it in the case most of the time. But yeah, the new All-Star. Interesting. Yeah, this looks like the entire lineup. And then some electronics. What is that? The layer. Hello. Okay. Super delay. Okay, it's got a ladder filter. Simulated. They do this using filtering. Yeah. Variable decay. 8 auto panning modes. That's nice. So it's got some nice stuff in it. Oh, here you are. And I like that it's a stereo in. Because not everything that goes into these devices is mono. Sometimes you're going into a stereo chorus or something first. Or you're coming out of a keyboard and you want a full stereo signal. So I'm glad you have a mono input if you want that. And still a stereo output. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So I don't know if this is all new for 2026 or this is basically the 2026 lineup. And they sort of just like, although you know what? I'm not seeing the Genesis on here. Right? And the Genesis is still a thing, as far as I know. And having been to that booth so many times, RGD, what the hell is this? Okay, like a bevel. That looks ash. That's ash, right? Ash. Yeah, over Okume. Okay, and ebony. That's nice. Really? Yeah, it's a streaky ebony. You know, I don't mind that because they're not throwing the ebony away. They used to cut these trees down and leave them in the forest. Go, nope, not dark enough. Go on to another one. The waste. They would use like 1 out of 20 trees felled. It was like an insane amount of waste. Okay, and that's like some sort of a composite top, I'm assuming. Right? Too many strings? Too many strings. Why do they do it? Why do they hurt me? It's a rich light top. Interesting. And a rosewood fretboard. Also interesting. The rosewood looks darker than the ebony. That's RGA, RG421. What do they got for RGs? Oh yeah. That looks like Jitoba. Jojoba. Yeah, Jitoba. And it's a Meranti, the all-new Mitsubishi Meranti. What do you got here? Oh, yeah. Made in Japan. Prestige. Okay, mahogany body, bound rosewood fretboard. Again, it almost looked like ebony because that rosewood is really dark. Very even. Fishman's, though. I'm not crazy about Fishman's. They're a little, they're for the metal guys, and I just find them, they're a little too mid-pushed. Just a little too much for me. All right, well, let's look at this. Oh, okay, 6 strings. Not Fishman's. I like that. Looks like it's got a coil cut switch. Looks like it has an edge tremolo, which I also like. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Simple lines juxtaposing against themselves. Deep forest green metallic. I got to stop by the Ibanez booth like I did last year. We'll do another walkthrough with Dan the man. Okay, and now you're getting into DiMarzio, Air Norton. I like that. Of the ones we've looked at today, this might be the one It's in their stainless steel frets. That's nice. And it has the Prestige fret end treatment. Right, that was this one. That's a fixed bridge. Is that this one? Yeah. Bare knuckles. And they have the special cosmic shadow. Oh, DiMarzio's. Interesting. Super Wizard, mahogany body, rosewood fretboard. Again with the stainless steel frets. Interesting. Oh, sure. Yeah. Kind of a charcoal flake look for the body. I'm going to assume this is flip-flop. Yeah, unfortunately it has the Evertune, and the Evertune. I can see why they're using the Fishmans, because this is your chug life, right? Evertune mixed with Fishmans. That's Chuggy McChug. What do you got here? Those are also Fishmans. Nice edge tremolo, though. Is that a matte gray metallic? Is that a matte finish? I don't know if they say. Khaki metallic. Also rosewood again. Again, their rosewood's pretty dark, huh? Kind of ebony-ish. What else do we have here? We saw that one already. And this is like some of the earlier ones, but just with a fixed bridge. Fishmans. Yeah, the AZ series. And of course, whatever the hell this is. I feel like it's the... What was the one they did with that guy, the turtleneck dude? Was it the Kaizen? Something like that? He's got his own line of guitars now. Kind of reminds me of that. Not my style of guitar. I'd get this and play Smoke on the Water. That, you know. Yeah, Abasi. Tosin Abasi, right? So he had a signature I felt that looked very similar to that. And he was with Ibanez, right? Just real quick, what's the score? Woo! Final. 34-31. Rams pull it out. Crazy. I don't want to get demonetized. So there was another thing I wanted to show you, but I don't know that I can. So Christie's has the Jim Irsay collection. That is the guitar played on like the first like Nirvana album. That is Kurt Cobain's guitar. Oh, you F off. Unfortunately, they're not showing you the catalog. If you want the catalog, you have to order it. Is it $60? 65 pounds. Probably like what, 80 bucks? 90 bucks, right? You have to buy the catalog. They have quite the catalog business. I almost bought the catalog for Jeff Beck just because I wanted the catalog, right, of all his guitars. But this is going to be quite a collection. He bought a lot of the guitars from, or just pretty much I'm pretty sure he owns a few Hendrix. He bought a bunch of the ones from David Gilmour when Gilmour was selling off his stuff. He bought a bunch, and it looks like it. Oh, you fuck off! Looks like it's going between the 3rd and the 17th in New York. I think this is just the tour. Is that when the auction is happening? That's the viewing. And then is the auction later, or the auction is at those viewings? It could be. He's got so much crap, right? This is New York. Well, yeah, New York. So March 12th, 13th, and 14th. And then that's the live auction. Okay. Hall of Fame, icons of pop culture, icons of music. Guitars played by the Beatles: Eric Clapton, David Gilmour, Jerry Garcia, Kurt Cobain, Elton John, Prince, Johnny Cash, Janis Joplin, John Coltrane, and Miles Davis. Items linked to sporting legends: Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, Wayne Gretzky, even Secretariat. Oh my God. I'm going to kill these sons of bitches. Unparalleled collection. Highlights of Jim Irsay's memorizing collection is Kurt Cobain's Competition Mustang, famously played in the music video for Nirvana's generational anthem, Smells Like Teen Spirit. David Gilmour's legendary Black Strat, Jerry Garcia's Doug Irwin custom-built guitar Tiger, George Harrison's Gibson SG, Eric Clapton's The Fool SG, John Lennon's Rose Morris Rickenbacker. Other iconic objects include Ringo Starr's first Ludwig drum kit, Elton John's Steinway Model D grand piano, Muhammad Ali's WBC championship belt, won following his victory over George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. And I've mentioned this before. You got to watch the movie When We Were Kings. That is the story of Rumble in the Jungle. And it is well done. It's really good. Again, Muhammad Ali, it's a documentary, When We Were Kings. And the original typescript scroll of Jack Kerouac's literary masterpiece, On the Road. He has a friggin' typescript for On the Road. That's unbelievable. Okay, pretty good. Not gonna lie, that's pretty good. And that's icons. So, icons of music? Okay. Any more? Okay. Example, custom-made acoustic guitars. Holy Trinity of guitars, the C.F. Martin and Gibson and Fender. Okay, so these weren't owned by famous people. These are just rare guitars. All right. Custom, hold on. Can I, well, can I max that out? There we go. Bitch. You just got blocked. I think this is the same thing, right? Secretariat. I think we just read that. That's the Hall of Fame. Icons of pop culture. Doesn't really have much more. Again, if you want to see the catalog, you got to order it. And you probably, you're paying 65 pounds, which is, probably about what, $90, $80. something like that. Oh, they also have a Super Bowl experience, of course. Well, he did own the Colts, right? So he comes from an NFL. See that? That was that thing popping up again. And it got blocked. You sons of bitches. You sons of bitches! No, you get blocked! Oh. Hold on. Oh. I think I was leaning over too much. I am slightly better. Not really. Let's go to Flame Cam. Flame Cam is the flamiest cam that ever cammed like a flame. Oh, I think that has to be more like that. Yeah, there we go. Do. Now, can I control this right here? There you go. Right here. I go to properties. Okay. And no. All right. It used to be you could very easily go to like, I could like is it properties? No. No, I don't want to mess with it right now. It used to be you could go there and you could do pan and scan, and I could pan around because I have something on the wall right there. I'd show you. See it? Up there? I got a little thing from YouTube, which is nice, but you can't see it. I wonder if I could just... Oh, no, hold on. I can't do it there. I just do it. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at you. It's a 20th thing. It's actually not signed, but it's numbered. It's a limited edition. They're like, you've been on YouTube forever, and here's a little something. I think they made like 1,500 of these. What does it say? 1,900. 1,934. I have 1,791 out of 1,934. Right there, the 20th anniversary. Oh, something nice from the YouTube. I actually have another little something. I picked up a Hirschfeld lithograph. It's not signed or anything. And they used to go for a few $100. But they, there's 2,400 of them. I have like number 23 something, right? They're all numbered, hand numbered. And they're embossed, so they're real. It has a special embossing on it, so that it's right. And you can get them now $50, $60, but the $50 ones are in real tough shape. So I spent a little bit more. I think I spent like $65, and it's got a whole bunch of let me see if I can find a picture of it. I think it's called the Hirschfeld 5 10 TV Land? Yeah. I found an image of it. Yeah. Can I just save that and open it? I can. I don't want to go to the website. Yeah, and I can zoom in on it. Yeah. So this is what I got. In fact, it looks exactly like this. That's what I got. I got one of these. So what do you got? You got Kojak. I want to say Dragnet. God, his name is on a... I'll get back to him. All in the Family, I Dream of Jeannie, Sanford and Son, Maud. Oh God, it's on the tip of my tongue. He did all the night shows. Was Aljon here? Oh, what's up, Aljon? Oh God, someone will remember it. And then he's got the TV commercial guy. So the Mr. Clean, the Hawaiian Punch guy, and the Jolly Green Giant. Oh yeah, and the Beaver. Oh God, he did Alfred Hitchcock. Thank you. God, it's on the tip. I was just about to say he did Vertigo. He did Birds. He did right. I can remember, right? He did Psycho. You know that guy. So I got one. It looks exactly like it. And as you can see, it's got an embossed on it. But it's not really signed. It's a lithograph. Right? And then they're numbered. Mine looks exactly like this, except I have a different number. It's like that. My wife was like, she goes, they're cheap because the people that know these faces they're dying. I'm like, I know. It's that's pretty much 70s television, right? And I think this was to promote TV Land because they were in the late 90s, right? This would have been 99, and they had all these old TV shows. They were, and TV Land was kind of a retro channel, and these were the shows they were running, and they would run vintage ads, so it was a big tie-in. This is the guy who drew the cover of Draw the Line by Aerosmith. Aerosmith's Draw the Line. He's done so much. I mean, he's one of the more famous. He had a deal with TV Guide. He was in TV Guide. If you ever read TV Guide, which, God, talk about a publication that's gone, huh? You know that guy who's always standing up and walking, unlike me. Oh, Happy New Year, Stephen Chad. Yeah, Happy New Year, buddy. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll see you in Anaheim in a couple of weeks. Not even a couple of weeks, like friggin' 11 days. I leave in 11 days. Jack Laynard, it's Hirschfeld. Right, Hirschfeld. You can't really see it, but the signature is right here. Hirschfeld. And he hit Hirschfeld 5. Maybe they did. I don't know why he was doing 5 at the end. But this is what it's called. It's called the Hirschfeld 5. Oop. the back cooperates. I hope so too. I'm thinking it'll be fine by then. I mean, how long could it last? Yeah, Kojak always looked cool. Oh, I'm doing the wrong. Hold on. Right there. Who loves you, baby? Hold on, I got this. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Annoying me. If you select something on the screen by accident, it stays sort of lit up, and it's got this big colored border on it. It's like, will you just leave me alone? Enough. Enough. Anyway. And then he also did the Players Club. You like going to places like Vegas, Reno, Atlantic City. Players Club. And then The Simpsons totally goofed on that when Moe goes out to eat with his date. He goes, yeah, put it on my Players Club card. And they go, Players Club? Yes, sir. Yeah, he had a lifetime supply of the Tootsie Pops. So I was fooling around with Suno. You know, I had taken a little break from it because, you know, I worked on the Christmas song for a while, and then I get busy with the holidays. But recently I sort of been getting back into it a little bit, trying out a few different things. And I came up with this one. It took a little iterations, but when it first ran, I forget if I played this for you or not. I almost like shit myself because I didn't tell it to make it a live, you know, show, but it did. And I said, you know, make a like a rocking song about what does it say for the genre? Do they give me the breakdown? I don't think they do. Yeah. Rock, thick 70s heavy soul rock groove with male vocals and a fuzzy overdriven guitar. Locked with a fat live bass, dry cracking drums, swirly Leslie organ, but I don't think I hear an organ in it. And they go, you know, crunchy stabs on the chorus and a shout-along hook with stacked vocals and all this stuff. But what it doesn't say is that it's in front of a live audience. Right? It never mentions that, but I put this together, and the other ones didn't have this. Only this one did, just randomly. And it's this. It's a banger. The whole live audience.
Same boots by the front door, coffee ring on the same old bell, but my heart's got a fresh spark, kicking like it's overkill. Snow melt on the window, streets all quiet, prim and clean. I'm done living in reruns, tearing out the old machine. New Year, same old fire. I'm still gasoline on the wire.
On the fire. Octaves. Love the use of octaves. Got the fuzz crank. Which is like he goes to Mixolydian. A friend of mine was like, it sounds like Sammy Hagar. Like, that does not sound like Sammy Hagar. I'm not hearing Sammy Hagar on that. I gotta learn that. damn straight. I was like, yeah, no. I love the whole live vibe of it. I almost shit. I was like, you know what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, I had gone through probably about a half dozen tunes. I was like, sucks. Oh. I was like, damn, that's really good. That's really freaking good. Jerry James Nichols, sure. You know, what do I buy it? I know, right? Well, then he's doing like the... Right? That major. I was like, holy shit, that's really good, man. Damn. I gotta, like, learn it. You know? I was pretty happy with it. Now, for something completely different, and this could not be any more different, I wanted to write a completely... It's a completely different style song. I wanted to write a love song for B movies because I was, my love of Godzilla movies, Gamera, all the classics. And I'm a big fan of the more sometimes like Rockstar. Sometimes movies are so bad. What was the other one there? That was just absolutely god awful. The one with Tom Cruise there, as Stacy Jacks. Again, just such a horrible movie that it turns a corner and becomes entertaining. I'm not laughing with, I'm laughing at it, right? So I have a love for B movies. And so I said, write a love song. And I didn't give it a lot of direction about B movies. And so it went with what do they call it? Let me tell you what they call it. A velvety neo soul groove. It's very different. A velvety neo soul groove with warm roads, lazy hi-hats, and a round melodic bass line. Male vocals that are close and intimate with stacked harmonies, and the guitar acts very subtle with reverb-soaked licks. Chorus blooms with pads. There's a soft background of oohs and ahs, and the bridge stops to drums before, like you're basically saying there's like a little break in it. And it's called, and then they just say neo soul again after a comma, and it came up with this.
Bucket of popcorn, butter on my hands. Old couch leaning like it understands. Rubber suit creature climbing up the dam. You hide your face, I laugh, say look how fake that is. B-movie love, low budget heart, cardboard moons and painted stars. Screaming at the screen in the dark. B-movie love, falling apart. But I keep pressing play on your heart. On your heart.
Little diminished run in there.
Boom mic in the frame, daylight.
Anyway, that's a slow tune. I'll put everyone to sleep. But I really like that. when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, okay. But when I, listening to other ones that had generated, I kept going back to that when I kept saying, you know what? This is as buttery as that first line. This is actually pretty smooth, And again, I said write a love song about my love of B movies. Right? So lines like rubber seat creature climbing up the dam, they get all into it. He talks about quoting the worst line, which is true, right? Yeah, exactly. Mystery Science Theater stuff. So I thought it was pretty good. And I had one more that I really liked. This was one about a new year. And I wanted to go, this is the last one I'll play for you. I led with the best, which was the New Year, same old fire. This is a very similar song. I wrote it at the same time, but I was trying out different genres. This is soft. It's got a completely different set of lyrics. Because although sometimes they write the same title, although it's a completely different song, and there's only, they know when they have one that sounds clever, and so so it has the same name as that first live one you heard, but it's a completely different song written at a completely different time. It's kind of interesting how that works. A soft, finger-picked acoustic guitar, low male voices close to the mic, a brushed percussion, and warm. The writing is so friggin' small here, and a warm upright bass. Entering subtly, and it come up with this. This is about starting a new year. F sharp.
Coffee breath, frost on the window, same old street, brand new day, calendar clean like an open notebook, heart still late to change. New year, new nerves, same hands.
It's the same chords as the Christmas song.
Box in the hall full of last year's plans. Some came true, some just stayed dreams. I take it shut, but I keep one corner open for the parts that still feel like me. New year, new nerves, same hands, trying to learn how to carry what I've been, still make room to begin. New year, new nerves.
What's
I
this?
won't promise I'll be fearless, I won't swear I'll get it right. I just
G,
promise I'll be
A,
present, one small step,
E, the 5 chord.
one quiet night.
Helps you hit the right note.
New year, new nerves, same hands, try to learn
kind of nice. Well, it's over. That was fast. Had a little quick ending on that. Little truckery jingle in there. Anyone know if you can download separate MIDI files for each instrument with Suno Pro Plan? They won't give you separate MIDI files. You can get separate tracks if you're able to break it up in studio, and you need the top tier to get into studio. I don't know that studio is included in the Pro Plan. I think it might be only included in the prestige. It might be only included in the top plan. And I tried 6 attempts to break the stems apart of that live tune so that I could isolate and mute the guitars, because I wanted to play along with it. You wanted to isolate the part so I can learn it, and then kill it so I can play along, and I'll play the guitar part, And I think it's the crowd or whatever. It 6 attempts, it couldn't do it. It says, yeah, sorry, no. So what that tells me is it doesn't store a record of what goes into it. It creates the whole song and then uses spectral layering to create the final product. And because a friend of mine was like, I think they might be sending out they create it using MIDI, and then MIDI generates it. I go, MIDI? Dude, get out of the goddamn 90s. What are you talking? The MIDI? No. They're doing a spectral analysis on 1 billion tunes. And then they're, right? And then they're taking those, they take that spectrum out and they figure out how to print their own spectral printing. Right? Just like a digital camera can capture an image, and then the software can analyze 1 billion images and figure out how to actually make a new image. That was the first AI we really had, was image creation based on what it's already looked at. And understanding what the different parts of an image is. So you say, show me a panda wearing a spacesuit. It knows what a panda is, and it knows what a spacesuit is. And it's able to put all those elements together and then, just make the image. That's what it's doing here. So, when you ask it, okay, now let's deconstruct it into its separate elements. That one we just heard, no problem. It'll rip that right apart like nothing. The one with the live audience, 6 attempts and it still couldn't do it. So again, we're still only I'm only a few months in on this. I started back in October. Let's see where we're doing next October. Or I started in November. I think I signed up Halloween. I signed up on Halloween. I saw Henning's video. I almost shit myself. I was like, dude, that sounds amazing. Did you see? I'm probably going to get demonetized or copywritten, and I don't like to play other people's content, but this was just too friggin' good. Let me look at, where can I go? Can I go to my history? I'm seeing ads in my history feed now. Yeah, here it is. Okay, all right, hold on.
Data gathering. What is AI, right? AI.
So they're talking about.
I ain't scared about it all. He goes for less.
And things spit out a demo. Music.
Things music. I know this is kind of like that. Well, how would you?
So I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want to. Listen, I love Tom Bukovac, and I don't want to play his copyrighted material, right? I don't like it when people do that to me. But you can, we'll do it podcast style. You can just listen to it,
Check that. I don't mean to bring this down, but I have to ask this. I've been asking all my friends that I respect, and you being high on that list. This is going to be a quick. I won't get off of this because
This is with John Oates.
What do you think about the advent of AI into music? I know this is kind of a fucking beaten horse right now.
I am really scared.
Okay, so let's have it. What do you think?
Here's what I'm worried about most. I'm worried that a generation will be developed and is coming very, very soon. It could be the next generation,
Yeah.
if not certainly the one that follows,
Yeah.
where people can't discern the difference between
They already can't.
music that's made by humans and music that's not made by humans.
It's already there.
And I'm really worried about that. And they won't care. And that's even worse.
That's, yeah.
I wrote a song with
Now listen to this. Listen to what he says right now. I wrote a song. You hear that? Listen to this.
a guy the other day, a Music Row kind of songwriter, you know, a really great guy. And I don't normally try to write contemporary country. I just suck at it. I'm terrible.
No, you're not.
I've never done it in my life. But
I've heard it.
anyway, we wrote
You're
a song
awesome.
together, and it was a really cool song. It came out great. I was really happy with it. And at the end of the thing, I did what I normally was used to doing, going, hey, so should we make a demo?
Yeah.
So you hear that? They write it. He writes a song with this guy, a contemporary country song, and when they're done writing it and they've written something, they say we should make a demo. Should we make a demo? Right? Which is what you normally would do at the end of that process.
Figuring I'm going to book a studio. I'm going to call a guy like you or someone else, and we're going to come in there and put a rhythm section together and, you know, do a quickie demo, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of the way things go in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, let's do a demo. He goes, let's do it right now. And I said, what do you mean?
Oh.
And he pulled out his phone and he said, do you know Sono?
Suno.
Suno?
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, no, what is that? I had no idea. And he said, just tell it what you want. And so I said something to the effect of, like acoustic, R&B, dry drums, lots of great background vocals, you know, my typical thing that I would like, right? And this thing spit out a demo. And I was like, I was freaked out. It was really good.
Right? He's like, yeah, right? So he's like, oh, so what is it? Sono? He's like, it's Suno. He's like, oh, man. He goes, you know. So I plug it all in. I plug all this stuff in. And he spits out the demo, and it's really good. Listen.
And here's the part that scared me the most.
You didn't tell it the chords or anything?
No, we had written we inputted the demo,
I see.
the guitar demo.
I
In other
see.
words, we wrote the song. He and I played it with two
Okay,
guitar,
I
two
got you.
acoustics. He sang it.
They deciphered the acoustic.
You see that? So they had already cut like a demo. They had recorded like a couple of guitars and some singing for the song. But that's not a demo. That's like a scratch, right? That's not really the demo, like a produced demo. That's like a little, you know, scratch pad, right? That you're just writing down, right? So they had some recorded stuff. They uploaded that. Suno analyzed it and then spit out a demo, a full-blown demo with drums and bass and all the stuff that they would input into the prompt. But they say, but listen to this. This is the song. So it analyzes and it listens and it figures out all the lyrics and it figures out all the chords and it makes the demo, right? Listen. Again, this is John Oates talking to Tom Bukovac.
Vocal.
Yeah,
And,
I wrote most of the changes,
Right.
a lot of the changes.
Right.
And here's what really blew my mind. One spot in the song,
Yeah.
I went for my normal minor 9 kind of chord, right? And it changed it to
Majors.
major
Down to
7,
Down to
down to
7.
7. And I went, shit,
It's actually better.
it was better. I was like, it was the kind of thing where if I would have sat with that song for a day or two, I probably would have ended up doing that.
Right.
It was just a perfect moment, and that freaked me out, man.
All right. You see what happened there? He uploads it with a G minor 9. And Suno goes, I'm thinking more G dominant 7. And he hears it and he goes, that's better. Like you said, I probably would have gotten there. I probably would have reached that at some point. right? Because that is songwriting, right? But he basically says, yeah, not only did Suno do the demo, it kind of punched up my writing a little bit. Oh my, no wonder he's scared.
And I was like, holy shit, you know.
So, you think it's all doom and gloom? What about the advent of the AI? Is there any goodness about it? Or I talked to Dan Auerbach about it. I think I already told these guys. I asked Dan what he thought, and he goes, man, dude, yeah, I ain't scared about it at all. He goes, for the last 25 years, humans have been trying to sound like computers, so fuck.
Yeah.
He said, like, I think Dan thinks it'll bring out a sort of a resurgence in humanity.
Appreciation for
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
Look at it. You know, here's what I look at. What is AI? Right? AI is kind of a conglomerate
Crowdsourcing
collation of
Right.
all the knowledge,
Right.
whether it's musical knowledge or
Right.
you know, whatever knowledge.
Right.
It's kind of gathering all this knowledge, right? Okay, so what about these pop songs that are being written today by 6, 8,
Right.
15 people?
Right.
Well, isn't that a gathering of knowledge?
I couldn't agree with that more. A lot of pop songs are written like a comedy show is written. They have a writer's room, right? You think one guy writes a sitcom? They have a room full of 10 writers. And they sit there and they bounce ideas off each other. And they go and they pluck out the best ones, right? And they're editing themselves and they say, oh, you know, what would be good here? Or someone comes up with a line. They're like, yes, we can use that line. That's a funny line. You know? I think someone had come up with the, on The Simpsons, they did Planet of the Apes, the musical. And someone had written the line, I hate every ape I see, from chimpan A to chimpanzee. Right? Once they had that, he goes, so he had chimpan A to chimpanzee. He goes, we started with that and we worked back out and we made that whole song. It was a team of writers that did it. In many ways, it kind of is what AI does, right? It pulls off of a whole bunch and says, well, this might work and this might. It's not random by any stretch. It's quite focused, actually. And I just thought that was super interesting as I was grieving my back, the loss of my back, rest in peace. I saw this the other day because, you know, I'm a fan of John Oates. I'm a fan of, you know, his body of work. And when I heard that, I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's about right. You at first were like, you know, this is really AI. Then he does it and he says, holy shit, this is actually really good. And then he goes, oh my God, I actually like their choice of this chord better than my choice. And he says, you know, when you really think about it, isn't all pop songs these days kind of crowdsourced? And it's like, yeah, they kind of are, you know? Yeah, comedy, exactly. Comedy does the same exact thing, right? Comedy crowdsources. They do that all the time. They get a room full of writers. You know, it's not just one guy. It's usually 3 or 4 guys putting together a script or putting together, you know, for a sitcom or putting together, you know, a lot of that stuff. I mean, stand-up comedians tend to work alone, but I found out, we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, the Adam Sandler song At a Medium Pace, right? And, you know, it's got a lot of funny lines in it. Well, you find out that he was like living with Judd Apatow at the time, and they were friends with a whole bunch of comedians, and they knew he was writing the song, and they were throwing him lines, and he just picked from the best lines and put it on until he finally had the final product. And he says, "Yeah, this is it." You know, it was kind of a, you know, kind of a group project. Although he was, I believe, the only one that had a writing credit on it. You know? Yeah, AI doesn't do comedy now. My wife was actually reached out to by a pretty big company. I can't say who. You probably wouldn't know them anyway, but they're pretty big in what she does, and she might be the director of AI content strategy. So they're at least asking her if she's interested, and she's like, "I'll hear what they have to say." I told her, I said, geez, if you got that on your resume, you're probably golden, unless the whole thing, blows up. But assuming AA doesn't blow up, that'd be a nice resume pad right there. The director of AI content, But who knows? People reach out all the time, and it very often goes nowhere. So I don't know if you guys, any of you guys have the R36 handheld there. I think Speaker has one. They sunsetted ArcOS. ArcOS has been sunsetted. There hadn't been updates in like 6 months. I said, I think he's archiving this. He did. He archived it. So no more updates for ArcOS, which is a bummer. Of course, I believe you can run Rocknix on it. But he replaced ArcOS with DarkOS. DarkOS is based on Debian. And it's a fork of Debian. So you should be able to download anything that's compiled for the Debian, environment for Linux. And he probably did that just to make it easier and open up. I downloaded DarkOS. I did install it on. I have two R36s. One I have Rocknix on. The other one I had ArcOS. It still says ArcOS even though it's DarkOS. Because it's like literally, it launched on January 1st. So, it's very buggy. I do not recommend, unless you got a few of them and you want to just, try it out. It's super friggin' buggy. I know we said that at the opening, Rip Bob Weir. Speaking of AI, AI is killing the RAM market, but your silver market is killing it. Yeah. Yeah, Dark Web OS. Exactly. It's Dark OS. Well, ARC stood for Another Rock Chip Operating System, ARC OS, because these little handhelds use the Rock chip, right? They very often use the RK series of chips. That's an RK 3326. I have an RK 3566, I think. So there's a few different Rock chips out there. Most very commonly used chip, and so that's what Rocknix is. Rocknix is based on that. ArcOS was another Rock chip operating system, and DarkOS is a Debian, another Rock chip. They'll have to come up with some name for it. This does not. This is one of their. This is their modern carve. So this is a 42 millimeter width and a fairly thin neck profile. It's actually quite thin compared to when they first came out. They were pretty thick, and I was like, man, what's up with the thick necks? He's like, that's what they want to do. And little by little, they got feedback saying, you know, I love your guitars, but the necks are a little chunky. And they finally came up. This carve is awesome. This is what I would call like a Fender 60s carve. Not quite like a 50s. It has the same width as the 50s, but the 50s break away faster because it's the V neck. This is a C. This is a C neck all day instead of a V. So it does slope differently from the sides to the back. You know, it's definitely a different contour, but this is 60s all day. This is the same with that one. The same thing. That's the so they have two neck carves. They have the VC, which is the vintage carve, and that's a VC shape, vintage C. And then they have the MC, which is this one, which is the modern carve, or the modern C. And that's this one, a little bit smaller. I like this one way more. In fact, I'm a big fan of this neck. Nice stuff. Played an early Vola, and it felt like an early 50s Gibson. Well, at the time Vola came out, which is, I guess, 12 or 13 years ago, I think the thicker necks was sort of all the rage, right? Like, you got to think of, like, you know, like the 2015 Gibson series had a really thick necks on them because they had that little extra wide metal nut, and they didn't want the nut protruding, and they can't shape the nut because it's metal, right? The nut is the nut, and so they made the necks a tiny bit wider to accommodate that nut. And between that and the thickness of the 50s, I remember playing one at NAMM going, oh my God, this neck is like enormous. But some people really like that. I was at I guess it was the Dallas Guitar Show. And I was walking around, and I ran at Greg at Vola, and he was like, hey, any chance you could just hang in the booth for 10 minutes? I really got to go to the bathroom. And I was like, oh, absolutely. Yeah, go run. Oh, sure. Go. And so I was hanging in the booth while he ran to the men's room, and a guy came by with his wife, and he picks up an Aries, which was their smallest neck, and he goes, I think even smaller than this neck, and he picks it up. He goes, no, it's got a shred neck, not interested, no thank you. And I said, you want a thicker neck? He's like, yeah, I can't play these thin necks. I go, check out that Blaze up there on the top, which had a really thick neck. He picks it up. He's like, oh, yeah. It's like his face. I'm like, I hate that guitar. That neck. I like the Aries. I like the smaller neck, but he wanted a big, thick. He wanted a Stumpy Joe, and he really liked that guitar. He's like, no, this is perfect. I love it. You know. Yeah, the titanium adjustable nut, right, with the 0 fret, right, which they did that. Yeah, so it was a little even chunkier than normal, because again, they didn't want, the nut was a certain width, and they didn't want it protruding over the edge. Makes sense, right? So it did feel a tiny bit chunkier than even what Gibson was normally doing. Just for that 1 year, just for 2015, and I think by 2016 they changed back to regular. And there was a big price increase in 2015. They lowered prices in 2016, if I remember correctly. Shammy says I have that exact guitar, but in the Tiger Eye, yeah, great. Modded it with all brass guts and a doable, a double trem stabilizer, right? Extra light springs, right? I got you. So is yours pretty light? The reason I like this guitar is it's fairly, I mean, it's balanced, but it you know, for a mahogany body, it's actually quite, because they weight relieve it, and then it's got that maple top. It's got a pretty thick top. Let's go to top cam. Right. Not too bad. A couple of mil. 3 mil. So I think they've done much better with this neck profile. They still have the vintage one because they know some people want that. So you don't have to. This is the MC carb. I don't think this model has it, but like this model here is available without the reverse headstock. I think in the vintage carb, right? The vintage C. That's the modern one. That's got the reverse headstock. So it just depends on the one you get. You can get that same exact guitar, right? So if I go to, yeah, Vola. Vola. Whoa. Where is it? Somewhere. Oh, Jesus. Don't make me block you, bro. That's the 7. Do they no longer have it? Did they end it? That's MC. Oh, maybe they don't. I don't see the VC. Maybe they don't do a VC anymore. It would make sense. I have one of these. That's definitely the modern carb. That's MC all day. Yeah, that's MC. Right? Yeah, Vola MC. Right there. The VC is 21 and 22 versus 20 and 21. So you're not talking a huge difference. But you feel it. It's a jam. Yeah, no, I don't see the VC. Well, they might have ended it. TNC, that's what I'm holding. That's MC. Yeah, maybe not. What about the Vasti? Any? Oh yeah, no VC. That's an MC. Yeah, that's all MC. Right, vintage white, shell pick. Right, these are all. Yeah. Yeah, Vola, MC neck, right there. Okay. It would make sense, you know, kind of streamline the... I think the Aries has its own carve. I think it's a D carve. This is what I was playing last week. Oh, they're calling it Modern C. It feels maybe a touch more like a D, but they swear it isn't. Again, it's 20 to 21. And the nut is a 41 millimeter. See, I'm telling you, it feels a tiny bit. I think these are 42. That might be a tiny bit narrower. Right? A mil. So what's the width on this one? Let's go to the Oz. Let's go to the TNC. They say, is it 41? 42. Yeah. That one I played last week was 1 millimeter thinner side to side, but the same thickness and the same carve. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I have here. They don't mention the weight relief, but I've confirmed with them it does have the weight relief. That's the one you have, right? The violin burst, or whatever they call that. It's nice. Tiger Eye. Aqua Burst. Yeah, they're sold out on a few, like the one I have. They got a ton of lefties in, though. They got the lefty and the blue, lefty and the aqua. You know, some companies, they abandon the lefties, but Vola's pretty good. That one they're out of. They got the Tiger Eye in lefty. But they're pretty good. They're pretty good with the left hand. You know, they don't discriminate. All right, guys. Well, it is. I'm just looking at the clock. It is 9 o'clock, and I got a football game to go watch. You guys have a wonderful week. Don't pull your back. I'm just warning you right now. Take it from experience. It's not good. You guys have a wonderful week. No videos this week. I'm still on vacation. The Guitar of the Week returns on the 19th. So we're just 9 days away from the return of the Guitar of the Week. And again, I don't think I'm doing a live show while I'm away at NAMM. So 2 weeks from tonight, there'll be no show. A show next week, but not the week after that. All right? All right. You guys have a wonderful week. And we will do it all again next week. And there you go. And Brofist to my mod squad. And special thanks to anyone who contributed. I really, really appreciate that. All right. No, you rock. Don't pull your back. And have a great week. And I will see you in a week. And we'll hang again. All right. Guys, have a great week. And there you go. And I know now to move this over before I end it. We'll be going 2 hours and 2 minutes. So we've done it. We've hit it. All right, I'm off. You guys have a wonderful night and a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.